Hello everybody, Candi Cooper, International Animal Communicator here and author. Welcome to my Facebook Live video blog. I can't believe we're on number 15. So please feel free to chime in with your questions. I'll be able to see as you type live, but I have so many great requests from everybody. So thank you for your emails and your messages. I'm going to try to do as much as I can in half an hour here. So bear with me. There'll be more to come. I'm just glad to be back again. And here we go. Let's start. So our first question comes from Lisa in Brentwood, California. And she says, Candi, do I have to be an animal communicator to actually hear my dog? And this is a good question. I get asked this a lot. A lot of times in my sessions, what I'm actually doing is just validating the human caretakers, their intuition or their thoughts. They already have a feeling about what the animal wants or needs, but of course they're just not sure, so of course I'm there. So again, it's a lot of times just validation. So no, you don't have to be a communicator, but I think if you just go with your first impression when you're working with your animal, especially if you're trying to figure out something physical, if your animal's in pain, try not to rationalize what you're seeing or thinking. Just go with what you're feeling could be the situation. And I'm going to say that probably 9 times out of 10, you're going to be correct. Of course, you can always call me. I'm always here for a session, and I can validate, or I can just actually tell you what your animal is thinking, but we all don't have that luxury. So again, you don't always need me, especially since this last year we've all been in quarantine, and so many of us have gone so much closer with all our pets, large and small. They mean so much to us. We've been relying on them, they've been relying on us, and it's been a beautiful thing that it has made all the bonds grow stronger and more intense. So that is one, I have to say, good thing that has risen out of this quarantine. Of course, that also goes across the board to say with our human relations too. Hopefully, it's bonded you with your partners in a more positive way. All right, so let's move on to question number 2. And this is just perfect for what I've been doing in my own life with my private animals. Daisy from Fresno, California wants to know. She says, I want to take in a feral cat that's in my neighborhood, but I'm not sure that that's what he wants. He's such a little cutie pie. I just want to hold him and keep him safe. Well, I'm sure some of you have seen all my adventures that I've been experiencing with Tiki, my feral cat. So I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on that through my own experience here with my own personal cat. Working with a feral animal is different, but not that different, because when you're connecting with them, they have all the same thoughts that your domesticated animals have, but then a little bit more because they've been free and they haven't had any type of training, obviously. So when you're asking them to do certain things, it's going to be a little more foreign to them. But the way that I've proceeded with Tiki, and you can see so many videos I have on my YouTube channel with her. I think it's been, I'm going to say 7 months now that I've been working with her. And I'll just give you a little backstory. I used to see her in the neighborhood here for about 3 years. And I thought my neighbor across the street was taking care of her because I'd always see her at their house. But then all of a sudden she started to look very skinny. And I got a little worried, and I asked my neighbor, and she told me that their son used to take care of her, but he went away to college. Oh, gee, isn't that great? So the poor cat's just really left out on her own, hence why she was losing weight. So little by little, I worked with her, everything on her own terms. It's been a very slow process, but it's been an extremely rewarding journey with her. We started out on the front porch with food and a little blanket, not touching her because she's feral. And I know some of you are very aware of cat scratch fever. That is extremely dangerous, and it's something I did not want to get. Then, from having her on the front porch, I spent many 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour in the morning seeing her, feeding her, getting her used to that, feeling comfortable. Then I started to touch her. Then I opened my front door, and she would just stand and look. And the process continued. Then she came into the house. Then she came through the house out to my back porch. Then she would spend some time on the back porch. So fast forward, now 7 months later, she is sleeping in the house at night. She's getting along with my 2 crazy chihuahuas, and basically really doesn't leave the property. She can jump my wall and go out front. I'm going to say maybe once a week now she goes out front to visit the other cats. But all I have to do is call her, and she comes running down the street. It's really cool. And the night before last, she actually came in the bedroom, which she's never done before. So it's like, okay, so this is the final frontier now. I've got to set up something for her in the bedroom, because I don't think the Chihuahuas are going to let her on the bed. They've been really nice outside and in the living room, but not on the bed. Anyway, my point being, everything has been on her terms. I haven't forced her. I've never grabbed her. I just finally picked her up for the first time again last week for a few minutes. When I did take her to the vet, I have to thank my dear client, Tammy Shepard, and she's also an animal control officer at East Valley Animal Shelter here. She was the one that told me, don't do a humane trap, because that's going to traumatize her, and I really didn't want to do that, but I really needed to get her to the vet. So what I did was I set up a little soft carrier, and I put treats in it, and then she started going in the carrier, getting her treats, and then set up an appointment with the vet that morning. And one day when she was in the carrier eating her treats, I just zipped it up and I took her straight away to the vet for all her shots and microchip. So it was a little scary for her in the car, but was not too traumatic as far as humane trap, because it's not that humane, because they are literally getting trapped in there. And you'll probably never, ever get your feral animal back in a carrier again if you use a trap like that. That's kind of like a one-time thing if you're going to catch and release, which a lot of you rescue people do. I know that. So it is possible, Daisy. I'm going to say work with this beautiful little cat in your neighborhood, but follow my lead, watch my videos, just take it very slow. And if you do everything on his terms, you're going to see that you're going to have the most beautiful relationship. And of course, you know, this philosophy goes across the board, not just with feral animals, but with all the animals. It can all be negotiated in a positive way. That's what I do with my work. It's not this lead mentality that most trainers have, that everyone wants a pack leader. I've never met an animal that said, I want you to lead me. And I know I keep repeating this, but I think it's really important, because there's a lot of well-known trainers through the years that always use this pack mentality, and it's not so. They want to be your partner. They want to be your brother, your sister, your companion. They don't want you to control them and force them to do anything. Fear-based is never, ever, ever a good way to train an animal, because one day they're going to snap, and it isn't going to have a good ending for anybody. All right? So I hope that answers your question, Daisy, on what to do. I didn't mean to go on and on about my feral cat, but I am pretty much obsessed with her. All right, moving along here. Let's go to question number 3 from Alina in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she says, Candi, how do I keep my mare That's a female horse for you that don't know what that is. How do I keep my mare calm when she's in season? It seems like she has PMS, or is that just a crazy thought? Please, please help us, Candi. Okay. Well, Alina, I have to say that I feel your pain because I too have a crazy chestnut mare. And again, I don't like to put labels or stereotypes, but my girl is everything that a fiery red mare can be. And that week when she goes into season every month, I don't ride her, I don't try to kiss her, I don't get her hooves trimmed, I don't do anything that's going to create more drama. I do recommend some calming, natural calming remedies for them because yes, she is having PMS. Yes, her hormones are a little crazy and she doesn't feel her best. So you have to be aware of all of that. It's not any different than you and I when we experience those same things. Some good remedies and things that I've used over the years, Mare Magic, which is easily accessible at all the feed stores. Wendell's Herbs, again, a very good product. I also use Viacom more than not just when she's in season that week. It also very good product, all natural, and it just takes that edge off, that emotional edge. So think about it. I mean, you wouldn't want to get saddled up when your tummy is sensitive and have you cinch and have somebody on your back, when you're just feeling like you need to just maybe watch some TV and have some bonbons or put your slippers on. So your mare is no different. So be respectful. I have it in my calendar when my mare goes into heat every month, so I know it's coming because I'll be like, she's acting awful moody today. Why? What's happening? And all I have to do is look at my calendar and voila, there it is. She is not feeling her best. So take notice of it and respect it, honor it, and let her just relax. Like I said, I give my girl that whole week off. I really do, because I don't feel like getting hurt and I don't want to trigger anything. I don't want to put her in a worse mood. It's just so much safer. And I say that because she's in season this week, and I always give her a kiss goodbye when I leave her stall. No, I forgot the other day. I almost got my sunglasses pushed into my face. Okay. She's like, yeah, I'll give you a kiss. Smack. All right. Okay, so let's move on here to question number 4 from Catherine in Calabasas, California. We got a lot of local people here. And she says, I want to get another dog as our elderly dog passed away a few months ago. I'm just not sure my other 2 dogs really want that. What should I do? I think we've covered something like this before in my live blogs, but it's always a good to cover this again, because this comes up a lot, especially when an animal has passed away. So first let me say this, that whenever you're bringing another animal into the house or an animal leaves, you're changing the dynamic, you're changing the energy with everybody. First and foremost, think about that. If things are going really well in your household, it's going to be a challenge. Are you sure that you want to change that dynamic by bringing in another animal? It's a big question. I personally had to think about this myself when I had to euthanize my big boy Wookie, which my big Leonberger last year, and my 2 Chihuahuas were healing and I was healing, and then all of a sudden this cat comes into my life, my little neighborhood cat, and I personally really sat down and thought about, what am I doing? How it's going to be a big challenge in itself, but yet changing the dynamic in my home. And a lot of times I know that you want to bring in a puppy because now you want to have a new dog that's going to be with you for many, many years, especially, Catherine, since you lost your elderly dog. So that is number one, considering how the dynamic is going to change. You don't know exactly how it's going to go until you bring the other animal in. We can have a session. We can talk with your other dogs about how they feel. Sometimes they'll be all for it, and they want you to have another animal, you know, share the love. And a lot of times they're not really into it because, yes, they do get jealous, and it can be an issue. And don't tell me that you don't have favorites because the animals know that you do. So stop lying to yourself about that. We all have our favorites. And the better that you deal with it and acknowledge it, the better it's going to play out in the end. Pretending that, oh, I love you all the same. Okay, I do know that you love all your animals a lot. But there is that hierarchy. And you do your best to balance it out. I know you do, because you're an animal person and you love your animals. But there still is the room for jealousy if another animal's getting more attention, or you have to remember that they are reading your thoughts. So even though you might not be speaking it, they're knowing what you're saying. Like, you know, this one is super cute, and maybe you don't say that to the other animal. So that's another thing to think about. You can kind of balance it and temper it yourself by expressing more love and appreciation for the other one that really isn't your favorite. I had a client that I was working with the other day, and she has an adorable cat and an adorable bulldog, and they get along. They had another little kitty, little feral cat, that was a little more feral. Actually, she never touched her, but she went in and out of the doggy door and lived in their home. And unfortunately, she went out one day on an adventure, and we did track her, but we could not get her back. She there's a lot of wild animals out in the area, and she just never made it back. So the human caretaker is asking me to ask the other cat, the other dog, are they ready? They were ready, they weren't ready, they were ready, they weren't ready. And now the little cat says he is ready for a playmate, but the dog says, you can have him, but you keep that new cat away from me. I won't have anything to do with it. On the flip side, her other sweet little cat had a message for her telling her that he was going to teach the new kitten to stay close to home. So the same thing wouldn't happen to it that happened to the other little baby that, you know, never returned. So that's very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I have another client, I know she might be watching today, just got a new horse. Beautiful marriage between the two boys. Put them stall to stall like this so they could see each other. When they see each other now, they kiss each other. We've talked to them. They're brand new brothers. The new horse has only been in the family like a week now. And the other horse just completely accepted him, loves him, calls him brother, told him he can call the human caretaker mommy like he does. So it is a beautiful, beautiful union, and as her family grows, just love just, you know, emanates from these two horses. It's amazing to see these big boys love each other so much. So again, like I said, each situation is different. So prepare. Don't just think you're going to bring another animal home and it's all going to be peachy keen. Now, on the flip side, I'm working with another client who has, 4 dogs. And the youngest one is infatuated with the older dog and will not leave her alone. She gives a growl to give her a warning, and the puppy reacts with aggressive behavior and attacks the older dog. And we've worked around and around for the last month or so on this, and thought that our last session, which was last week, we were going to have to decide which dog was going to go, probably the puppy. And lo and behold, we had a really great, what can I say, connection with the two again. When we talked to both of them, the older dog said, I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to walk away from you, but don't follow me. Can you not follow me? And trying to explain to the younger dog that that growl is a warning sign, but one time it's not going to end up so great like that if she decides to fight back. I mean, the poor dog's ears are chewed, and it's just really, the owner's beside herself because she loves all four and she wants to keep them all. So we had a good heart-to-heart with all of them. The other two are just out of the picture. They don't care, they don't fight, but they're just tired, and they told the puppy how upsetting it was for them to experience this violence in the house because they're very mellow. And we finally got through to the young one. We really did. I'm knocking on wood. We got through to her, and I just got pictures even last night from my client, all four of them laying together. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down, chewing on bones together? No fighting, no growling. It's a huge breakthrough. But it was a little iffy there. We weren't really sure which way this was going to go. So, circling back to what I said at the beginning of this conversation, it's a gamble. If you have a really great dynamic in your house already, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Unless you just have this burning need to bring another animal in, and I can't deny that because I am the most guilty of all, just bringing animals home, of course. But if you really feel the need, take it slow, and don't make a snap decision in the first few days, the first week, I'm going to say even the first month, because it changes and shifts, because it's all energy. We're all energy. The animals are the same. They have to get used to each other and learn to kind of like a dance. How does it feel? What's going on? And if you just sit back and watch it, it's completely fascinating. You can see it take place and unfold right before your very eyes if you're just quiet and watch. And then if you want to, interact, try using visualization, which I always say, instead of your words. If you need to control the situation, try speaking to your animals with your mind. And we're going to circle back to the very first question from Lisa in Brentwood. You don't have to be an animal communicator to hear your animals. And you don't have to be an animal communicator to talk to your animals. Speaking for the animal, just words, they hear us constantly talking to them. It's kind of like white noise. Blah, 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 blah. But when you use your mind and you use your visualization or your telepathy, which is the way I communicate, it's so much stronger. Try using pictures if you're not good with, visualization in that way with words through your mind. Just use pictures of what you want to take place. And you can do like little scenes for your animals. I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And then always, 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 always end it with a happy ending, no matter what you do whenever you're working with your animals. All right? So I think I've talked enough this morning. This will be available also on my YouTube channel. So take a look at that. I have a lot of fun videos on there, especially for you, Daisy, with working with your feral cat. And I want to say thank you again to everyone for making my book such a big success. June it'll be out a year already. I just can't believe it. I'm going to get ready to start on my second one pretty soon. And just thank you for all the beautiful comments and all the amazing reviews. I think I have over 80 reviews, because that's what people look at nowadays before they purchase it. And all the great emails and messages. I'm glad it's helped so many of you through the grieving and healing process. And I'm always here for you. You can reach out to me, my social media, all my information's there through my website. So with that being said, always remember to speak to your animals with your mind and not your mouth. Peace and love. Bye-bye.